We have a mental health crisis. We have a substance use disorder crisis. And we just got to turn the page and try to work with the community and build that community up. They are humans, and we value that. So I run the harm reduction at Westminster. I'm the co-director, where we're doing outreach to the community by doing Narcan distribution. Narcan is the drug to reduce an overdose, reverse an overdose. And so we have been working in harm reduction since 2008 here at Westminster. I am well known in the community for being the guy that hands out Narcan. I talk about it during our jazz night at Westminster. I talk about it at our blues night. I do community events, including, for example, I did a back to school event down at Greenleaf Rec Center this past August, where we distributed over 100 Narcan kits. And the amazing thing about it is when I'm out there handing it out, most people, I would say 95% of the people know what I'm talking about and they want it. We have an overdose crisis here in Washington, DC. Last year we lost 526 people, and this has been a trajectory for the last 4 years. I understand that we are on the cusp of reversing that. We saw a 23% drop in drug overdose by death this past summer. So we're hoping that that will be shown across the year. And working with the community, when someone is ready, and only when they're ready, to get them access to treatment. But we believe in harm reduction, so that's also if they're actively using, giving them the tools like fentanyl test strips, giving them a referral for needles, clean needles, giving them the education not to use alone. If you're using alone, all these tools aren't going to make any difference. So it's really all about trying to be the voice and to lead as a faith place of worship. That we are the ones that need to be doing this work. We do a Sunday service on recovery every year. And this year we did it, and a member came up to me and said, George, you know, next year I'm ready to tell my story. We don't know who is in our pews that are suffering from all of these issues, but they don't need to do it alone. I hear a lot about, you know, you're enabling them. No, we're not. What we're doing is we're seeing them as a human being. Their life matters, and they particularly matter to me. So that's why I do the work that I do, is so that other people can see that as well. You know, I think COVID really has brought out mental health issues and brought it to the forefront. And we're starting to talk about it more. We're starting to talk about trauma and the impact of trauma, PTSD, you know, how that impacts the community. You know, in layman's term, I look at it, when we get in the car, we put our seatbelt on. That is to protect ourselves and protect others. And that's what harm reduction is. It's just trying to make sure that whatever activity, we're doing it as safe as possible. And we do that with substance use disorder. We do that with HIV. We have an active HIV program here where we distribute condoms here at the church and lubricant, education. There's still a lot of stigma in the community. They think, oh, I can get it from eating off a plate of someone or drinking from a glass. That's not true. The science. So, you know, I think it's really an active, the church or the places of worship had to be very proactive and pro-science. We have become so against science, and it is our role as faith community to say that science and God made science, and it's good. And this all, bringing that knowledge back, brings it all back to the community, and it gives our community a stronger community. COVID changed community engagement, and so now we have to figure out what that means and how do we move that forward.
So when we came here, Westminster, this solidly gay congregation, had a few African American folk who were wondering, asking when, if we are ever going to have the conversation about African American history and culture. When are we going to do that? And how are we going to do that? So we decided to start a jazz experience. And because jazz is an art form that has been nurtured and nestled within the African American community for a century or more. What it was for us was an opportunity to just bring people together and to experience the music and the storytelling and the shared experience of people who love this tradition and share this tradition. And so it took a number of years for it to begin to go. But for us, it has been incredibly consequential. And as I said, we do a Monday blues thing too, and that's a little different than jazz. And actually, ironically, welcomes and interests a different demographic. So it is there's some crossover, but it really is a somewhat distinct community. And these are communities. These are folk, many of them, I don't know, half the room anyway, are people who come all the time. And they get to know each other and they just like being with each other. And it becomes church. It's blues church on a Monday night, I guess. And so, yeah, that's what is done. But again, our location is very significant. And what we do is very significant. So we're known all around the community as kind of being a hub in this neighborhood. I think that's really, at the end of the day, what it's all about. And we are known, not just in this community, we are known region-wide for this jazz thing.
We need to have these active dialogue. And that's part of the problem. We stopped having dialogue that really impactful. We have what we call Resistance Bible Study here, our RBS, and we dive into books about anti-racism, about homophobia, about all these tough conversations. You know, we really lift up transgender and what that really means. And so by having these difficult conversations with each other, we educate each other and become more aware. We did a better job at doing that. And that's here at the local church and nationwide and globally. You know, the faith community does a lot. And we just have to be better at doing that. That's why we became a Matthew 25. We are already doing the work. But we are connecting with other churches that are doing the same work, and we're learning and we're trying to figure out, what does that really look like? You know, how do we really move outside of these brick walls, out into the community and be respected?